Okay, so welcome to another video. So today we have brought back this pretty grubby HP Compaq Pro 6300 small form factor PC. So it has come back from a customer site and we're going to just run through what we have found. So let's have a look at the intakes. So as you can see here, it's pretty grubby, pretty filthy. It's a really old machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this apart and we're going to give it a good clean out. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is get it laid down. So we're not going to be using a blower because it's raining and we normally take things outside. So we have got a hoover here that we're going to be using. So all we're going to do is we're going to take off the cover to start with. If we can get that off like that, and let's have a look inside to see what delights await us. So in here, I'm just going to see if I can zoom in a little bit. So in here we've got the intake, CPU cooler. It doesn't look too bad inside, to be honest, but it's only got one stick of memory and it's using a WD Blue desktop hard drive 500 gigs, so they're pretty good, they're not too bad. We've got a little bit of dust on the power supply that you can see there, so we're going to give it a good hoover. We're going to take off this front fan assembly, and then that will enable us to give it a really good clean out underneath there. And once that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to take out the hard disk and we are going to replace it with an SSD drive. And then we're simply going to get rid of it on eBay to anyone that might want it in the future. We've got no need for it here. So without further ado, let's get the cleanup underway. So first thing we want to do is we want to remove this front panel. So we've got 3 clips here that just lift and slide off like that. Oh God, that's pretty nasty inside there. So we're going to give this a good clean out. Let's have a look to see if we can see that. Yep, you should be able to see that clearly, just how filthy that is. So we're going to put the hoover on. We're going to also take this assembly out so we can get underneath there. We're going to remove the cables from the side of this, but apart from that, it's really easy to come out. It just slides straight out. So that's the cables removed. And that will come out. Oh yeah, that's pretty grubby inside. So let's have a look at that. So we can see there that the CPU cooler is fairly clogged up. So we want to make sure that that is all nice and clean. And we're going to give it a good hoover around in the fan area. And then we'll take the fan out and we'll give that a clean out as well. Okay, so speed up video and some music. Okay, so that's now done. You saw how we lifted this up. This just lifts up and there's a little lock clip here, like that. So you just press that, that lifts it up, that locks it back in place. Then we're going to give this a quick hoover and wipe off. Okay, then the fan unit will come out. So we've got down here we've got the fan header that we're going to leave on for the moment, and we've got the clips here to get this assembly out. So one there, got it. Okay, that was a bit trickier than I thought. So now let's have a look in here. Still a little bit of dust remaining. Just wiggling my fingers in there has cleaned that out, but I will give that a hoover out as well. Okay, so that's the fan unit cleaned out. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get that connected back in. So we've got one clip down the bottom, two on the sides, and one over this side. That's much easier to go back in. And then we want to plug our fan header back in. Like that. Next we can put our guide back on for the fan and CPU cooler. So that basically just directs the airflow through here, and then we want to get our cabling back in like so. So that's all there is to it basically, and that's how to clean a internal of a case. Let's have a look underneath the power supply. So the power supply underneath the bottom here is still a little bit murky and grimy, so we're going to remove that, and then we will take out the hard disk. And then to remove the hard disk, just push down on, there's a lever in here, push down on the lever and that will slide the disk out, and then you can just lift it up. So we will need to keep the mounting grubs on this, so we've got a tray that we can use. So let's disconnect that. So you want to reuse these grommets basically, which are on the side of a tray. What we're going to replace it with is this here. So this is a 250 gig SSD drive, WD Blue, which is perfect for desktop environments. So this will give it another couple of years of life definitely, and it'll make it much easier to sell, because you'll be providing a machine that, although it's a 3rd gen Core i5 processor, with an SSD drive in, it'll make it much more responsive. So let's go ahead and do that. What I'm going to need is I'm going to need a drive tray. Let's see if this is big enough. So I'm using a torque driver here, because it's a torque head. Okay, so that's the grub screws now mounted, so that will, that will sit in there perfectly, slide forward and then lock into place. So that won't be rattling around, the new disc won't be rattling around in there. So now we want to install the SSD drive. Okay, so that's the drive mounted on the tray now. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to connect our SATA connector. To do that, I think I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to re-thread that under there. And then the power connector, like so. And then we're going to drop this tray into the socket here. Once it's down, we're going to slide that forward until it locks, which it does. And then we're going to reseat our CD-ROM until that locks, which it does. And then we're going to reseat our power supply. This one like that, and then that should just slide forward like so. That is locked in place. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are now going to replace our front cover. Remove that. So we've got our pegs on the bottom that line up, sit in the slots, and then our top should just clip on like so. Make sure that's seated correctly all the way around, which it is. And then the final thing to do is to put our top cover back on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give it a really good antibacterial clean, just to make sure that it's nice and fresh. Okay, that's all there is to it. So if you found that video useful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.